So sadly, my trip to Copenhagen is over and I'm back home. Just kidding. I actually love coming home, but I also love to travel. Neither my husband nor I had ever been to Denmark or to Copenhagen before, so this was a first for both of us, and we loved it. That is probably an understatement. We had such an incredible time. I would go back in a minute. I was sad to leave. So I'm going to kind of relive my trip a little bit by recreating the outfits that I wore and sharing them with you, since I shared the pulling of the pieces, trying to decide what I was going to take. And I'll share some outfit of the day photos that we took on the days that we remembered to take them. So first of all, hello and welcome. I'm Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. If you are not familiar with me, I am a style and mindset coach. And what that means is that I help women just like you create wardrobes they absolutely love wearing, get really clear on what their style is, get dressed without any drama. And I do that not with traditional styling techniques, although they're in there when we need them, but I do it by helping you see what your thoughts and your feelings are doing to your style, how they are in control of the struggles that you might be having around your wardrobe and around getting dressed. Because once you understand the thoughts and the beliefs and the feelings, and that those are creating your actions and the results that you're getting, changing your style, elevating your style, creating a wardrobe you love wearing is not difficult. The difficult part is really getting inside your mind and understanding that what you've been thinking and feeling probably for decades, maybe even without realizing it, is what's calling the shots and what's keeping you stuck in your style. It is truly like magic once you begin to recognize that because we have the ability to choose our thoughts and our feelings, we think that there is a definite problem. I can't find any pants that fit. I can't find any sweaters that are good for my shape. I can't find anything in my budget. I have no good shopping near me. I don't know how to dress for my age. I don't have a clearly defined style. I don't know what color shoes to buy. We think that those are the problems. Those are not the problems. That's just sort of the symptom of the fact that there are some limiting beliefs running in the background, some things that you have learned even without trying that are keeping you stuck in a style you don't love or preventing you from understanding that you hold the power. All it takes is this awareness of, I understand now that that thought is not serving me. That thought is not leading to actions that are creating the result that I want. Therefore, I need to pick a different thought. This is not easy work to do on your own. I completely understand that, which is why I have coaches who help me in areas where I am stuck and get in my own way and need help seeing how my thoughts are creating an outcome I don't want. I do this work of helping women discover how their thoughts are creating their results inside my program called Style Therapy. It is a 3-month container, and I know there's been some confusion because container is kind of coach speak. It is a 3-month package. The duration of the package is 3 months. The duration of the time that we work together is 3 months. And within that 3 months, we go through the steps that will have you understanding what your style story is. What story have you been telling yourself about your style? Even if you're kind of unaware of it and you don't recognize that it's a story, we go through that and we rewrite it so that your story is supportive and your thoughts and your feelings are supportive of the style that you want to have. And we get clear on how you want to look and feel at this stage of your life. A lot of my clients are going through transitional periods, and so they're ready to show up differently. They maybe have been widowed or divorced. They maybe are moving to a new town, and they may be having a big birthday. They are ready to show up in a more elevated, empowered way, and the thoughts and the feelings that they've been thinking are holding them back. So I help my clients understand how the old story hasn't been serving them. I help them rewrite their story. I help them quiet the noise because there's so much noise out there. I help them learn to make decisions, and I help them learn how to step into the new identity that is the more stylish version of them. All of that happens relatively quickly once you recognize, oh, my thoughts and my feelings are why I feel so stuck. I am in control of that because I can pick a new thought and I can pick a new feeling, and I teach you how to do that. If you're hearing this and wondering if your thoughts and your beliefs might be keeping you stuck in a style you don't love, the very first step to working together inside Style Therapy is to book your sales call. There is a link down below. If you don't see anything on my calendar, just send me an email and we will find a time that works for both of us. It is a sales call. I know that I've gotten some pushback here about why do I call it a sales call. I don't believe in making things sound different than they actually are. I'm a straight shooter. I could call it a discovery call or a consultation call. And there have been times in my career where I have, but I don't want you to think that it is free coaching or that it is something that it's not. It is the two of us getting on a call so that I can explain to you how working together can actually solve your style struggles. And you can ask me any questions. And during that call, we can decide if working together is a good fit. So if you're ready to book your sales call, there's a link down below. Now I'm going to just share the pieces that I actually put in my suitcase and took with me. And I'm then going to build some outfits to show you how those pieces all work together. I will say that this is what I wore on the airplane. I was not planning to wear this combination, but when I was packing my suitcase, this pullover sweater was thicker and felt like the thing that I should be wearing on my body that would keep me warm in the airplane. These pants are wide leg, and I have no problem at all with airplane bathrooms. I know that some women have huge issue with airplane bathroom floors and wide leg pants when they travel. I have never had that problem. This to me is a bit of an example of how a belief can create a style struggle. So if you have some beliefs around the airplane bathroom and what you can and cannot wear, that is the kind of thing that we uncover and peel back and clean up inside Style Therapy so that you can wear whatever you want on the airplane. So I wore these. I did not wear these socks. I wore a pair of just navy blue compression socks because I like to have a little bit of circulation boost when I travel. And then I wore these brown suede Adidas, which I had sprayed really well a couple of times with waterproofing spray because I knew that Copenhagen would be wet, and it was, and they fared beautifully. Then I took this great jacket that I recently got from Quince. I am a proud Quince partner. I love the brand. I am continually impressed with their quality. There are some pieces I get that I don't end up loving. I send those back, but the pieces that I keep, I wear in my real life and I love them. And I want you to find pieces from Quince that you love too. I know that currently they do not ship worldwide, and I'm sorry about that, but they do now ship to Canada. So if you have not heard that Quince is now in Canada, they are. This jacket was great. It is not full on waterproof, but it was water resistant enough. I did in fact use the hood some days, although the hood does detach if I wanted to. The pockets were nice and deep. It's not too heavy on my body. I could tumble it in the dryer when we got back to the Airbnb if it was soaked, but the nights that I didn't do that, it also dried just hanging. It was great. I'm really glad that I had this. I did not end up taking the little puffer jacket, you will notice, because once I really looked at the weather, I knew that I wasn't going to wear that alone, and it wasn't quite cold enough to need that as an extra layer, so that one stayed home. I took this great crossbody bag from Quince. It got softer as I used it. It definitely got soaked a couple of days, although it didn't show any damage at all. It has a zippered pocket and then a couple of slots for cards. So between this bag and this great passport cover, which I never knew I wanted one or needed one, but I liked that I could keep things tucked in it in addition to the cards that I wanted right with me. On past trips, I've sometimes tucked my passport in places and then been hunting for it frantically. I always knew where this was, and it fits into this bag with my glasses case and my phone and other things really nicely. So I'm very glad I took this. I'm actually loving this bag. And then I took 3 scarves. I took this just plain gray, really lightweight cashmere. I took my kind of infamous unicorn scarf. I am on the lookout for another one because this one is starting to get a little droopy. And then I also just took this little neckerchief kind of for interest and color with my very simple wardrobe. I took these 2 camisoles. I did not wear either one. Partially because we didn't go anywhere where I wanted to wear this like just with a cashmere sweater because it was a little too chilly and we didn't really go out for dinner. We made dinner at home at the Airbnb and we went more out for lunch and out for pastries and coffee. So I didn't wear either one of these, but thankfully they're small. They didn't take up much room, no problem. Then I took these for tops. I took this Quince peasant blouse. I love this, so I did wear this. And then I took 3 of my favorite J. Crew girlfriend tee, this oatmeal colored one, a gray one, this blue one, and a white one. And then I took 3 sweaters. The sweater I have on, this gray cashmere v-neck, and this gray cashmere sweater. I wore this one only once or twice. This I wore many, many days, and this one I wore many days. I took 2 pairs of jeans, these cream jeans, and the navy blue ones. By rights, I didn't need both. I knew it was gonna be kind of messy and sloppy and wet, so these probably could have stayed home. Although the day that I wore them, I was very happy to have them, but I probably didn't need them. And then I wore these Levi's a couple of days also. And I did take a leopard belt that I wore with the jeans, and then I took my 2 pairs of Old Navy kind of glorified pajama pants. I mean, they're not really pajama pants, but they fit and feel like that. And so I took them in the kind of khaki brown and the gray. And I ended up taking 3 pairs of shoes. I had planned to take these black Oxfords and the brown Adidas. However, at the last minute, I threw in my kind of older creamy Converse because these are really comfortable and I knew that I could walk in these forever. And so I figured they might get a little wet, but I wanted to have them as an option. And I actually wore all 3 pairs and I was happy, my feet were happy to be able to rotate. The other thing I will mention is right before we left, I went to REI and I purchased my very first pair of smart wool socks. My whole family wears them. I had never really worn them because I don't really love wool against my skin. Even in a sock, it can sometimes feel itchy, but I knew that from a blister standpoint, they would be good for my feet and they would also keep my feet warm. I'm a convert. In fact, on our trip, I bought 2 pairs of wool socks. They are so fantastic. I now see what all the fuss is about. They were comfortable in every pair of shoes. They have a little extra kind of padding at the heel, up at, behind kind of the Achilles tendon, which meant there were no blisters. My toes and my feet were so happy and so warm. And so I am thrilled that I have discovered smart wool socks. Thank you to my family for being patient with me while I got on board. Okay, let's make some outfits. Hello again. So I want to hop in quickly because I want to give a little commentary on this outfit. I have my new red socks on that I bought at Cause while we were away. They are wool. They are fabulous. They're pretty thin, but they felt great while I was walking and wearing them, and I'm excited to wear them now that I'm home. So I wore this outfit to a very, very special lunch while we were in Copenhagen. We did not have this on the books before we left, and I didn't even realize it was possible to imagine and dream that this could happen. However, it did. We dined at Noma. We had lunch at Noma on the Friday that we were in Copenhagen. I looked to see if possibly there was a way to get a reservation. Matthew and I met in the restaurant business 32 years ago. I did events coordinating. Matthew was a bartender and a server and a restaurant manager and a sommelier. Restaurants and food have been a part of our lives forever. On our honeymoon to France almost 30 years ago, we dined in Monaco at Louis XV, and we have never regretted it. It was an exceptionally incredible experience and just has stayed with me for all of these years. So we knew that if the opportunity to dine at Noma came up while we were in Copenhagen, we would take it. So I looked for a reservation, there were none. However, they have a very incredible website that they work with called Notify, and you put in your information and the dates that you would be interested in, and then if there is a cancellation, you get an email and you have a very brief window of time where you can very quickly try to put in your information and book the spot. So I did that, and the first cancellation that came through, I missed. I wasn't fast enough, and it was already gone when I tried to book it. And so I kind of just released it and thought, if we're supposed to go to Noma on this trip, it will work. And then the next morning, I got another one of these emails that said there is an opening available for a shared table on Friday for lunch. And I very quickly entered my information, and we booked the table. And I just love how it all works. We were at a table for 4 that we shared with another couple who was there from Amsterdam, and they were delightful. And we enjoyed talking with them and experiencing the magic and wonder and awe that is Noma. So if you're someone who loves food and that opportunity ever presents itself, I urge you to go. It was as good as they say. Every single part of the experience, the kitchen, the staff, the food, the decor, the entire thing exceeded our expectations. So I wore this to Noma. So I wanted to just share that this outfit had a very special outing, and I will probably always remember this combo because of that special meal. So I think I'm going to call it there. I could keep going and making more outfits, and yet I think you get the idea that when you have a tight color palette and shapes and silhouettes that all work with each other and can be layered together, it makes it really easy to get dressed and to create multiple outfits. My goal was not to take as few pieces as possible and build as many outfits as I could with those pieces. Certainly, I could have narrowed it down. I did not need every single piece that I took. I did wear them all. I was intentional about bringing pieces that I knew I would would want to wear. Yes, I could have taken only one of these 2 pairs of trousers and probably been fine. I could have taken just one of the 2 pairs of jeans and been fine. However, I wanted to have options, and I wanted to have pieces that I could mix and match in multiple ways and have similar looks. This combination that I have on right now was the look that was most indicative of my Pinterest board that I made prior to leaving for Copenhagen. And to be honest, the taupes and the grays and the browns and the grays were what every chic, stylish looking Danish woman had on everywhere. So I'm happy with these combinations of the grays and the kind of taupey browns. This is new for me to like any kind of brown. However, I now have quite a few brown sweaters in my closet that I'm wearing very happily. But this capsule of kind of blues and grays and a little bit of tan, I could just continue to make outfits. I didn't even include the 2 tanks that I didn't wear, but I could easily layer those underneath this cardigan as well and create additional outfits with all the bottoms. That always happens after a trip. I realized, wow, I could have made even more outfits, or I could have taken one more piece and had even more combinations. I am really satisfied with the clothing that I took and the way that I wore the pieces. I just would love to go back to Copenhagen as quickly as possible. It was a really incredible trip. The city is amazing. The people were warm and friendly. Everyone spoke English. It's just an easy city to get around. The metro system just works and is easy. Our Airbnb was fabulous. Our Airbnb host was fabulous. We actually met him for coffee and a Danish. It was wonderful. It was all around wonderful. So if Copenhagen is on your bucket list, I urge you to go. Although I'm not sure, from a dear friend of mine who lived there several years ago, I'm not sure that between now and March is the time to go because of how short and dark the days will be. However, it was rainy and dreary and pretty dark while we were there. We only had a couple glimpses of the sun and it was fabulous. I would do it again in a second. I don't mind being wet. My hair was big and curly and it was wonderful. So that's all I have for you today. If your style struggles have you fed up, if you're at the point where you think, I have tried everything, I have worked with other stylists, I have worked with personal shoppers, I have watched all the YouTube videos, I am not actually loving the things that are in my wardrobe and the way that I'm wearing them. I'm not even really sure what my style is, and what I've tried hasn't solved the problem. Maybe we try working together. Style therapy is different. It is different because I address your mindset. If we don't get to the root of the thoughts and the feelings that you are thinking about the clothing, about your body, about your budget, about all things, about the bathroom floor in the airplane, if we don't address those thoughts and get to the root of what's going on when it's time to get dressed or shop or pack for a trip, you stay stuck. It doesn't matter how much new information you bring in. It doesn't matter how many new pieces you bring in. It doesn't matter how many outfits you build. You won't actually wear them out in your real life and feel incredible if we don't address the thoughts and the feelings. If you're ready to do that, book your sales call today. There is a link down below. I have just a couple of spots left before I open the wait list. I don't want you to miss out on actually solving your style struggle so that you can travel and have it just be easy to get dressed and feel incredible in your clothing. Okay, that's actually all. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll be back next week with a new video. Thanks so much for watching.